Hello there and good evening. Thank you for joining us for business today. I'm Ronnah Nahabwe with Winnie Nakawuki on the sign language. But first, let's look at what made the headlines.
GUSC results released. Poor performance noted. Impoverished regions present educations as Terego, Obongi, Madi Okolo, among others, illustrate this interest. Karamoja Affairs Minister Goreti Chichutu surprisingly apologizes for diverting iron sheets, part of the relief logistics for Karamoja sub-region. Insurance Regulatory Authority, Innovation Hub forge market maximization model through tech inclusion.
In our first story tonight, the Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Goreti Chichutu, has apologized to both Ugandans and the Committee of Parliament on Presidential Affairs for diverting the iron sheets meant for Karamoja region to other regions. She also asked for more time to give more details on why she gave out the iron sheets to those specific ministries.
Allowed.
Social distance.
So we can give us a space.
After failing to respond to the questions posed to her on Wednesday, Minister Goreti Chichutu has surprised the Committee on Presidential Affairs with a statement apologizing to the country and the committee indicating that she was not guided properly by her technical team.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable colleagues, members of the committee, this statement is being made in my capacity as Minister for Karamoja Affairs on the matter of iron sheets procured under my ministry. Without proper guidance, some iron sheets meant for Karamoja region were given outside the region in response to requests. This could have been an oversight, but now that guidance has been given, this will not recur. Any inconveniences and embarrassments caused is highly regretted.
Chichutu says it's true she gave out the iron sheets to areas which were not meant to receive, and therefore she asked to be forgiven.
I will also present a separate statement to His Excellency the President and the entire executive. My commitment to serving Uganda as a whole, and the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs in particular, is unwavering. Honorable Chairperson and honorable colleagues, I pray that and all Ugandans accept my sincere apology. I thank you.
However, members were concerned on the criteria the minister used to disperse iron sheets meant for Karamoja to other regions, and yet those regions had not requested for them.
First of all, we need detailed information from the minister on who received iron sheets, how many did each one of them receive, and then she respond to the question that we raise before she tender in our apology. Apology for what at this material time?
The Honorable Minister is a senior minister and has served in many capacities before the Ministry of Karamoja Affairs. When she says she distributed without proper guidance, from whom does she want to get guidance for this particular supplementary budget or for the issuing of iron sheets? And where has she been getting other guidance before in the previous ministry?
Honorable Minister, we request that you go ahead, make a detailed write-up on how the iron sheets got mismanaged, because as you have mentioned about requests being made, we need also to look at all the requests being made, because many of the beneficiaries have declared that one, they did not request. Two, some said even they are ready to return the iron sheet.
At first, Minister Chichutu had resisted taking an oath, insisting that everything she was saying was the whole truth. She did, however, take the oath after much pushing from the committee.
I, Chichutu Goreti Chichutu, do solemnly swear that evidence I shall give touching the matter before the Parliamentary Committee on Presidential Affairs shall be the truth,
the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
The minister then asked for some time to get back to the committee with a detailed report on why she diverted the iron sheets from the original recipient to the different individuals. The committee continues to meet other witnesses before it gives its report to the House for debate. Samlanifa, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Away from the iron sheet saga, let's look at the Dagon compensation accusations. After complaints were raised by Parliament representatives from Soroti District regarding the unfair and undiscriminatory compensation process for war claimants, Deputy Attorney General Jackson Kafunzi has clarified the progress of the compensation process.
On Wednesday, the Soroti District's parliamentarians brought up the subject of compensating war victims in Soroti. The lawmakers blasted the cabinet for the delay in dispersing the funds that had already been released, claiming that it was unjust and discriminatory.
No wonder that's why the compensation of Teso is dragging. His Excellency should move faster and do it now. In fact, should have done it yesterday to have Kafusi out of that office, because bringing a disgrace to that office is bringing a disgrace to the president. It's going to make the president lose votes in Teso.
Honorable Jackson Kafuzi, Deputy Attorney General, has appeared to defuse the situation in response to the accusations. He emphasized that the compensation procedure was fair and transparent, and it was based on validated criteria such as the kind and extent of the claimant's harm, the duration and intensity of the war in the area, and the level of economic, social, and psychological impact that they had experienced.
Since we had agreed to pay 1,550,000 per cow, 300,000 was like equating it to a thigh of a cow. So we received those complaints and we corrected them. So what I'm trying to say is that we are human. We could err here and there. But I want to assure you that nobody under our watch in our ministry will systematically and deliberately take taxpayers' money that is intended for compensating people in Acholi, Lango, and Teso. We will not do that.
As of the end of last year, a total of 21,000 war claimants in Northern Region had received compensation, according to the report. This represents the highest number of compensated claimants among all regions in the country. These are from Acholi sub-region, Lango sub-region, and Teso sub-region respectively. A total of approximately 49 billion has been paid off to the region through their district resident officers and chief administrative officers. The Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development has not yet released the 30 billion Ugandan shillings that Parliament appropriated for the compensation to the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, which could be one of the reasons for the ongoing delays in paying the awarded claimants.
But currently the people we are paying are those on the list. And out of the 92,000 people who have so far paid 21,000.
The clarity is expected to allay the concerns of Soroti representatives and war claimants and reassure them that the compensation process is being conducted fairly and transparently. As the compensation process continues, it is hoped that all eligible claimants will receive the compensation they deserve and that this will help to bring closure and healing to those who suffered during Uganda's turbulent past. Martha Nimsima, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, has criticized the practice by some European Union member states of exporting banned pesticides and products to developing countries. He made the comments while speaking at the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Parliamentary Conference happening in Brussels in Belgium.
The Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Thomas Tayebwa, while speaking at the Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific Parliamentary Conference happening in the Belgian capital, Brussels. He called out the European Union members and the UK, criticizing them for selling chemicals that are banned in their countries to the developing countries.
That if we made a resolution or communicated as a team, as one unit from here, and we are telling the European Union, be transparent. We are all human beings. We all have red blood. You don't have blue blood. And for us, we have red. The milk that can kill an European can kill an African. The pesticide that can cause a cancer to an European can cause cancer to a Caribbean. So why are you allowing dangerous products to be manufactured in your union and be exported to other countries?
He continues by saying that some of these banned products are brought into the developing nations through the umbrella of donation to the poor, children and refugees. Most of these developing countries do not have the same research net like developed nations to know that the chemicals imported are poisonous.
Some of this milk comes in form of donations to poor countries, to poor children, to refugees, and it's coming from the European Union, what they cannot take. If you send it a refugee, someone who has nothing to eat, nothing to drink, how will you tell them about sovereignty?
As they say, ignorance is the worst disease. David Chomukama, the Permanent Secretary of Ministry of Agriculture, has urged Ugandans to be cautious when dealing with chemicals. He has emphasized that one should not practice agriculture without the proper knowledge, because in doing that we are killing ourselves by using chemicals we don't understand. He further advises that not all animal and plant disease symptoms should be treated.
Eating antibiotics in most of the meat and eating pesticides in most of the plants that we are eating. I haven't heard anybody talk about it so much. It's a terrible thing. Of course, somebody will say it is the fault of the Ministry of Agriculture. Why? Because we lack extension workers. Why? Because we don't enforce standards and qualities. Why? Because everybody, unfortunately, everybody in Uganda thinks that because animals and plants don't speak, they can treat them. So, I would say yes, to some extent, but I would also say no. It goes back to the structure of the agricultural sector. Why?
One of the few restrictions placed on exporters who export banned products is the Rotterdam Convention on International Trade in Hazardous Pesticides and Chemicals. This requires a country to share information about the dangers of their banned chemical exports with the importing countries, which allegedly is something that has not been happening. Ronnah Katsime, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
We can have the maximum.
In effort to increase insurance penetration beyond 0.8% in Uganda, Insurance Regulatory Authority has partnered with Innovation Village to run a regulatory sandbox under the Insure Tech program. Experts believe that innovators can now leverage on infrastructure to create tech-enabled solutions to take insurance services to the last-mile customers.
Let's give a hand to her.
The Uganda's insurance sector, with just 30 insurance companies and 48 insurance brokers, has resorted to technology for innovative solutions addressing the sector client gap. According to Arthur Mkembo from Future Lab Studio Lead at Innovation Village, their partnership with Insurance Regulatory Authority and the devised Insure Tech Program Regulatory Sandbox shall maximize on the end-user market.
So the goal of the IRA InsureX program, why the regulator is partnering with the Innovation Village and our partners to bring you this opportunity, is that indeed we believe or have a hypothesis that by leveraging digital transformation and the opportunity that technology-enabled innovation creates, we can truly build fast-track perspectives or fast-track approaches to doubling insurance penetration. In fact, our goal is to double. As a consequence of this program, our goal is to double insurance penetration by 2025.
The insurance sector portfolio currently holds 134 players spread across different segments and services. To embrace insurance technology, Sante Pretozio, Director Research and Planning at Insurance Regulatory Authority, says that they are considering revamping insurance environment that still involves an overhaul of the insurance curriculum.
We have seen already some technology in the insurance industry. If I talk about medical insurance, the medical insurers have entered into partnerships with telemedicine, that today you don't have to go to a medical facility to get treated. The insurers, together with the various health service providers, have entered into partnerships and telemedicine, where you get treatment in your comfort. Number two, motor insurance. There has been a lot of improvement in terms of digitization along motor insurance. As you are aware now, you can buy motor vehicle insurance, especially the motor third party, in the comfort of your room.
To emphasize, this is not just about using technology, it's about innovating in multiple perspectives. The way you interact with the insurance companies, your understanding of insurance, your ability to hold an insurer to account, your ability to communicate to the insurer what solution you need, their ability to serve you, their ability to serve you physically, digitally, and any other way you want, just the ability for you to access the opportunity that insurance presents.
Integration of technology in the sector intends to address challenges and risks such as fraud, market diversification, and leverage the easily insurable lot with the largest portfolio of the Uganda's informal and middle class cluster still uninsured.
There is always a challenge. Wherever there is innovation, as you innovate with an intention of improving service provision, some people are also innovating around tapping into the resources informally. So we are trying to balance that. So in as much as there is technology, of course, when I say that you send your vehicle, the photo of your vehicle which has been involved in an accident to the insurer, they also do some background checks before they pay. But the idea is that that has tremendously improved on the period that insurers were taking to have the claims paid.
The last year's uninsured report, for instance, indicated that 86% of the Uganda's informal sector is unaware and 44% understood how it operates. Such is just one of the many involving market challenges in insurance, and the need for digital transformation seems likely to tame costs, literacy, efficiency, and adaptation. Pedson Mumbere, SMART24 TV, Business Today.
Now, away from that, results for the 2022 Uganda Advanced Certificate of Education have today been released by the Uganda National Examinations Board. Girls performed better than boys, and while 770 candidates out of 97,890 failed the exams, State Minister for Higher Education, John Muyingo, attributed the candidates' poor performance to teachers who have declined to put in more efforts while teaching. Samuel Chirimonda compiled the report, and let's have a look.
According to the Executive Director, Uganda National Examinations Board, Mr. Dan Odong, the 770 candidates failed because of their inability to understand questions and their complete ignorance of the subject matter.
Some of these candidates did not carry out the dissection, which is a very essential task, a very essential skill in biology. So the specimens that were provided for them were left intact, but they had drawings in their scripts, meaning that they memorized drawings from textbooks and they reproduced this instead of doing exactly what the examination had required them to do.
Dr. Dong revealed that 67,815 candidates qualified for university entry after attaining the required 2 principal passes, adding that a candidate would require only 1 principal pass and 2 subsidiary passes to qualify for the technical colleges and other institutions of higher learning. He noted that fewer candidates were registered in northern Uganda, West Nile, Terego, Nakapriprit, Buvuma, and Moroto due to higher levels of poverty. State Minister for Education John Chrysostom Muyingo attributed the poor performance to absenteeism and advised those who did not qualify for university admission to join technical colleges and other institutions that offer technical skills for a better future.
While the attraction of university education appears to remain strong, I wish to appeal to our younger people to consider taking advantage of the opportunities, many opportunities available in other tertiary institutions outside the universities.
While in an exclusive interaction with our reporter, Education Consultant Dr. Asman Katerega advised Ministry of Education to enact policies that would encourage schools to register more candidates rather than having fewer candidates or not one at all.
After COVID, they had lost interest. Some students lost interest, some students lost morale, and it really affected the education system. So that's why you see that some policies also need to be changed. For example, one of the policies that UNEP puts up is you cannot have a certain number for A level if you have less than 10 students. So If I have less than 10, if I have 5 students in A level, I cannot, students cannot sit from my what? From my center number. Or I have to pay more.
Dr. Asman Katerega also noted that poverty and the effects of COVID-19 were to blame for the poor performance index in the northern region. He advised government to subsidize education and provide more incentives to teachers so to improve on learning in schools.
I think we need to come up with a strategy. We need to come up with a way of doing things, especially when it comes to incentives. If, for example, teachers are not teaching well, especially in those areas in northern Uganda, we should look at what can we come up with, especially what can we come up with that can help entice these teachers go and teach in those what? In those areas.
Samuel Chirimunda compiled this story.
That story will now usher us into a short commercial break, but we will return with more, so don't go away.